Today we're doing a full face of Catrice. I picked up a few new things from Catrice, not new to the brand I think, but new to me. And I also got a few like older favorites. I want to mix it all up, do a full face and show you what Catrice has to offer. So let's get into it. So I really did my best to do a full face. Sometimes I cheated a little bit, but this time I was serious. So the first thing that I picked up that is new to me that I thought looked really promising and I'd never really like looked at it before, like given it any attention. This is the Catrice, the Pure Nude eyeshadow palette. I believe there are a few other colorways in this range, so if this is good, there are more options. And this is kind of like a cool tone nude neutral eyeshadow palette. This actually swatched really nicely. I just swatched it. I feel like this looks really promising. The only thing that I am not wearing from Catrice today is the eyeshadow primer, because I do not have any faith in most eyeshadow primers. Right, a little bit of a zoom. Just gonna do a little bit of a simple makeup look. I am first gonna go in with this kind of like taupey shade in the corner. I don't really know what their idea was with making some of these bigger than others, but I guess this is a transition shade that you could use quite a bit. So that is a really soft shade and it's kind of, I don't know, almost satiny. Not really satin, but it has something very skin-like about it. Very kind of creamy looking. That is just a nice kind of like shadowy, soft brown shade. Pretty promising. I'm not mad at this. Like so far this is looking good. I'm gonna try and deepen it up a little bit. I'm gonna grab this shade over here and see what that does. Just a bit in the outer corner. Yeah, that makes quite a difference. That's nice. I don't feel like these are too powdery. I feel like it's more towards the creamy side. I don't feel like these are those blending away, fluff everywhere kind of eyeshadows that Catrice also sometimes has. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and blend it. And I'm not too precise with the blending here because it's all brown. Alright, and now for a shimmer. I think I'm gonna grab this shimmer over here in the biggest pan. And these shimmers feel quite soft, kind of creamy. So let's see how this looks on the eye. Okay, that is actually really pretty. It is a kind of like standard shimmer formula. It's just a like metallic, but for what it is, it actually looks really pretty. It doesn't look dry, it doesn't look unpigmented or anything like that. This is, I think, a really nice eyeshadow palette for an everyday look. You don't want multi-chromes, you don't want ultra sparkly shades. You just want something you can wear on the daily. For that, I think this is really cute. And now I want to do a little bit of shadow liner. I'm gonna take the deepest shade in the palette and see how that works. Yeah, that's also really nice. I like the formula in this palette better than the palettes from the Slim eyeshadow palette line. I also like the packaging better than those. And now for an inner corner highlight, I'm gonna take the lightest shimmer Champagne. Let's see how... Ooh, that is actually really pigmented and brightening. Okay. That's very nice. And it's applying very nice with the brush. I'm gonna take a little bit and applying that kind of over here, like dragging the inner corner a little further. Okay, Catrice, I mean, it is not like a mind-blowing indie palette, but for what it is really nice. So a little bit more blending. Like it's gonna be a soft brown everyday look, but it's quite nice. I don't know if my blend is absolutely perfect today, but I'm pretty happy with this eye look. Okay, next up. This is a mascara that I've actually already tried and really liked, but I like used it up and now I repurchased it. So this is the Catrice Pure Volume Magic Brown Mascara. This is in the shade 010 Burgundy Brown. This is a good alternative, but not the same thing as the Burgundy Mascara from Maybelline, because that mascara is much more like purpley burgundy, and this one is definitely a mix between brown and burgundy. Like this brown leans burgundy, but I feel like this is a really nice mascara. It just does what you want a mascara to do. It's not like the most crazy mascara, but it just gives a really nice natural result with a nice color that's a little softer than a black. By the way, my eye has been twitching all week. I don't even know how to film around it anymore. It just keeps twitching. I sometimes have this. I don't know why. Maybe I'm too stressed, but I don't feel stressed. So this is like one layer of the mascara, and I feel like it gives quite a nice length, volume. It separates, it doesn't look messy. I feel like it does quite a lot, but it is on the natural side. I have mascaras that are more lengthening than this, but I do enjoy this quite a bit. Also because of the color. It's not that easy to find a like burgundy mascara or burgundy brown mascara. If you want a really light brown mascara, then I wouldn't grab this one. I feel like this one is like pretty close to looking black. So this is kind of like if you want off black, just not quite black. Alright, I haven't tried a liquid concealer from Catrice, I believe, ever. I've only tried their little pot concealer, and they didn't have that in my shade in the store. And I went to the store today. I was like, I want to film this video, so I'm not gonna wait around for another concealer. So we're just gonna try one of these. I'm gonna be testing them both and coming back to these products, but I just want to try one now. I find it interesting that we have two very similar concealers, at least in claim. These claim very similar things. So we have the 18-hour hydrating true skin high cover concealer, hyaluronic acid waterproof, and then we have the liquid camouflage high coverage concealer. This one is also waterproof. I guess the difference is that this is gonna last longer and it has hyaluronic acid, but then it's kind of like, why would you have both of these still? This seems like the obvious better choice, at least in the claims, but you never really know. So I got shade 010 Cool Cashmere in this one. By the way, this one has 4.5 milliliters and this one has 5 milliliters. So bigger packaging, smaller amount. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this on this blemish over here. Okay, this is very liquidy. And I like to be quite precise with my placement. Does it look a little yellow to you? Looks a little yellow maybe. Like, I am neutral to cool. We're just gonna like accept it. Just gonna work with what I got. It's supposed to be a cool shade. And I'm gonna grab the Singe concealer brush. Let's see how well this covers this blemish. This has been an issue. I feel like that's looking really yellow. I feel like I really see that. I'm gonna put something over it in a second. But I don't think I could wear this concealer on its own. Maybe if I get a little bit more tan, like those days are upon us. Usually I also wear a concealer that is a little bit less pigmented because I don't really wear foundation. So I know myself and what it kind of should match with. This is really high coverage. At least to me, I feel like this does a lot. Oh wait, I'm totally forgetting that I wanted to use a primer. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna put on the primer. I can still do that. Okay, I bought two primers. I bought the sational 10-in-1 Dream Prime. So this is priming, hydrating, anti-wrinkle, natural glow, anti-pollution, antioxidant, pore minimizing, evens out skin tone, blurs imperfections. It has UV 15, SPF 15. And then we also have the Perfector Poreless Blur Primer with niacinamide. This one is just a velvet smooth flawless finish blurring primer. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of the blurring primer on like the more textured areas of my face. I'm gonna take a little bit over here. Oh, I see a difference straight away. Wow, that's doing a lot. It's really kind of like mattifying. Okay. A lot is happening on my forehead. Let's do a little bit over here. Okay, this is really pore minimizing and like blurring. I see a lot of difference on my forehead. I see a lot of difference over here, like the pores almost look non-existent, and here I have a lot of pores. They still exist, of course. You can't really minimize your pores. I'm just gonna take a little bit over here as well. It's really like this silicone primer. And of course, part of it is also that this is mattifying, so that's gonna do a lot. It feels very like soft and not really drying, but it's definitely this very silicone-y thing. Now I would like to see what the difference is with the sational, and I'm gonna put this more on like the outer perimeters of my face. Does this have a color? This seems to have some tint to it, so we're gonna see, because my experience with these types of products is that they are very yellow. I tried something similar from Catrice before and it was very, very yellow. With this one I'm gonna take a Singe F01 because it is so colored. Gonna see what this does to my face. This one seems to add a little bit more of a glow than the other one. The amount of pigment of this is not too bad. I don't feel like this makes me look crazy. Smells kind of fresh. Oh, it has perfume in it. That means I cannot use this too much because I'm allergic to perfume. And if I put perfume on my face every day, I will likely get rashes. So that's a really strong, like, fresh fruit florally scent. I'm not a fan of that. It smells nice, yes, but I just know that my skin is gonna get irritated because of this. Okay, I quite like the effect of this primer. The color is not too, like, colored. Doesn't change too much about my skin tone. This one definitely has a more glowy effect and a little bit perfecting because the slight bit of coverage it has. I think I quite like the effect of this one. Like, it looks quite nice. It is subtle, but it looks good. But I think I prefer the other one. Like, I really saw a lot of effect with that one, and I feel like that one doesn't have any perfume in it. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, this one doesn't have any perfume, so I think this could be more of a daily product for me. I feel like this one did a lot. So I feel like I'm gonna be a little yellowy today. Why am I so red under my eye? What happened here? Hopefully just from the rubbing I just did for removing. I feel like, oh, I should blend this out better. It's just a little yellowy. I feel like generally this sits on my skin quite nicely. It's quite a nice looking product. It just adds a little bit of glow. It has a little bit of tech to it. This one, less because it's more mattifying. I just feel like Catrice makes these products always a little bit too yellow. Like the 10-in-1 perfecting thing. It's just a little yellow and I just feel like it's not gonna be suitable for everyone. So maybe they should make more shades, or maybe they shouldn't make it this shade or any shade. Alright, so we're gonna do the concealer, and I was thinking maybe I should just like see if this shade is a little better. So we're gonna try the 12-hour waterproof liquid camouflage high coverage concealer, like to see if this shade is better at least. Or should I do one on each side? Yeah, I feel like this color is better. Okay, I don't feel like I want to ruin my makeup with a wrong color concealer, so I changed my mind. We're gonna do this one. Gonna take the same brush as I had just started blending with. Now let's see. Yeah, this blemish is it's just so hard to cover, and I just feel like it's a very high coverage concealer, and you're just gonna see that if you don't have any coverage on the rest of your face. But I'm not gonna judge it too harshly for that, because I know that's something strange that I try to do. Either the coverage of this one is a little more natural or the shade is better, but I feel like this looks better. So we're just gonna go with this, and I will test out the other one later. Okay, that is actually looking really nice under my under eyes. Wow. Probably the fact that I put on a little bit of a primer there helped. But that is looking super perfected. That is looking really, really nice. I'm very impressed with that. That is looking so good. I was not expecting that. From just the application of this one and the other concealer, I like this one way more. The color is better, it's more cool toned, and it just looks way more perfecting. Like it sits on the skin better. I was expecting the other one to sit on my skin better because it is more like hydrating. It has more hydrating properties, but of course what they say and what it does isn't always the same thing. This is definitely high coverage. Like this is totally canceling out all under eyes I ever had. Like my under eyes are currently non-existing. I was not expecting this to look this good, to be honest. Like so far so good. I really like how this is looking. I feel like it looks a little better over here than maybe than over here, but I have like weird skin here. And it doesn't look horrible on that. It looks quite nice. Alright, so my plan was to use the Soft Glam Face Filter Fluid, the Glow Booster in shade 010 Fair Light. I have been really enjoying this. The only thing that I don't like is that the cap is kind of like breaking apart, falling apart. I don't know why. And the scent of it, it smells kind of bad, but it has smelled like this from the start. And I feel like that is often the case with these types of products. So this one is also pretty yellow, I must say. I am gonna use this kind of like as a foundation type product. And I really want to see what this looks like on top of that mattifying primer. So I'm once again taking the Singe F01 and I'm just gonna work this in, mainly focusing on the outer perimeters of my face. This is a super glowy product with a little bit of coverage. If you don't like any emphasis of texture, I would not recommend this because this will emphasize texture a little bit. But it is quite a nice product to wear on its own if you just want light coverage, just a little bit of perfecting quality. But yeah, it's very glowy. And you can also use it as something underneath your foundation or as a highlighter, but I use it on its own. But sometimes this is definitely a favorite for me. I really like it, but sometimes I am aware that my skin is a little more texture and then I will probably... Okay, I don't know when my camera stopped recording and just cut me off somewhere, but I was just telling you that I will probably not reach for this product when I have more textured skin or I have some skin issues. Why do I have foundation here? Just ignore this now. But yeah, I really like this product, but it's not one that I will use every day of my life without thinking, because it does emphasize some texture if you have it, and sometimes my skin is just not like ready for this. But yeah, I feel like a lot of Catrice products, they skew a little yellowy. Like this one is also pretty yellowy. And I don't really have issues with it when I'm a little bit more tan. But now I am not as tan as I will be in the summer. Alright, so I feel like I'm looking really glowy now. I feel like this is looking as glowy on this part as it is on this part. So this just counteracted the primers. I'm just gonna go in with the powder. I feel like it is time. I'm also just experimenting a little bit in this video. So I got the Catrice All Matte Plus Shine Control Powder, 12-hour long lasting. And this is the like universal one. Yeah, 001 universal. And I'm just grabbing the Singe F04 and I'm gonna focus this on the forehead and over here. And also the under eye. And let's see. Like, I have no idea how this is gonna last. I feel like this is kind of brightening the look a little bit. Like, I'm looking a little less yellow now, maybe, hopefully. I'm gonna redo this a little. I think that's a little better. But I feel like blemishes never really look perfect on the skin. You're always gonna see a little bit of that like texture. I feel like this powder is not like the most mattifying, crazy mattifying powder I've ever used. It's more of this natural finish. And it feels really like skin. It doesn't feel like this weird powdery film. So I feel like my skin is looking pretty good. We're gonna see how it's gonna last. I feel like that is maybe even the most important thing, because if this is gonna crease in like an hour, yeah, it's not gonna be a favorite. But I feel like overall it's looking pretty good right now. It's just a little yellow, but that's gonna fix itself when I get a little bit more tan. Alright, I'm gonna do the bronzer. So I got a new bronzer as well. This is the Sun Glow Matte Bronzing Powder. It's water resistant. This is for medium skin. This is 030 medium bronze, but honestly it looks like it would be perfect for me, or even maybe a little light in the summer. So I think it's a bit of a weird name to give this bronzer. It's called Sun Glow, but it's a matte bronzing powder. I always feel like it's pretty interesting how Catrice categorizes the bronzers. We're just gonna take a little bit on the Singe F05. And let's start over here. In the swatch it looked a little warm. So let's see if it's gonna be too warm or if it's gonna be like a more bronzy undertone. I feel like that is looking pretty nice. I do want quite a bronzy look today on the chin. I feel like this is not a super pigmented bronzer. You can definitely build this up. It's pretty easy to work with. And I think it's quite a nice shade. I don't feel like this is orangey, but it's also not super cool toned. Yeah, I feel like if it's really like mid-summer or like July, August, then this might be a little bit too like subtle and light for me. I do tan, but so far it's looking pretty good. I feel like I'm not looking like myself. I feel like I'm looking way more makeup than I usually am, also because of the high coverage of that concealer. If you know me, you know I'm more of a like natural, subtle makeup kind of girl. When it comes to the skin, like I do love a bit of color, but yeah, very interesting. I'm gonna bronze up the neck a little. Alright, this is quite a nice bronzer so far. I do feel like it might look a little bit more glowy now because of that glowy primer, but it seems kind of like the skin-like finish. I actually quite like the way that it's looking so far, but I have to try it with different things for the base as well. It's definitely not a shimmery bronzer, but I don't know if I would really call it like matte. Right, it's time for the brows, and I think I tried a Catrice brow pencil a really long time ago, so I thought, you know what, we're gonna try something again. I got the 24-hour wear Slim Matic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil Waterproof, and I got the shade 020 Medium. And this is very similar looking to the NYX one, and NYX one is what I always use. In this one I have shade Taupe, the classic. And this one looks very similar, so I thought maybe I will like this as well. And it also has a spoolie on one side and a pencil on the other. So let's see if I'm gonna like this. I like something pretty subtle and easy to apply, not too crazy, because I don't feel like I need to fill in my brows a whole lot. Just do a little bit and then I use a brow gel. But yeah, this one is pretty precise. I like the color matches. And I can do what I want with it. I can fill it in. I feel like the packaging of this feels a little like wonky, a little like, what is going on here? Is it all gonna fall apart? I feel like the effect is very similar and the application is very similar to the NYX, but in that regard I do prefer the NYX, I think. Alright, this is my second one of the Catrice Brow Gel Mascara Color and Fix. I already used the one that I got last year up, like completely up, and now I have this one. This is my favorite brow gel. I like the hold it has, I like the color it has. I feel like it's really easy to use because this one, if you like go overboard a little bit, it's pretty easy to clean up. Like I have other brow gels that are a little bit more of a stronghold than this one, but those are like really difficult to clean up, and I always make mistakes with my brows. I always do something and smudge it, and I just really find that important for it to be like easy to clean up. So yeah, I feel like my brows are looking pretty good. They're looking like what I want them to look like, but I am not like 100% sure about this pencil yet. By the way, I do feel like here I have a little bit of dryness. It looks slightly dry, but I have that issue with a lot of products nowadays. My skin has issues. Next up, I already tried one of these All Over Glow Tint by Catrice, but I got another shade. I wanted to use that today because this is a really nice formula. This is a liquid highlighter that doesn't emphasize texture, that doesn't look weird on the skin. I've had very good luck with this highlighter. I mean, every time I wear it, it just looks so good on the skin. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the shade 030 Sun Dip, and I'm just gonna apply it with a highlighter brush. I'm just gonna like do a little bit on the brush and a little over here, a little over there, and let's just blend that in. This is just a very thin formula, and it just doesn't have any like crepiness or powderiness to it, which I find a lot of liquid highlighters do have. Like they emphasize a little bit of texture and those like under eye lines, and this one is just very sheer and very like flattering, and I feel like this is probably the best liquid highlighter that I have ever tried in like regards of the formula and just how good this looks on the skin. Just look at how good that looks. Do you see that? It's just really nice. I'm gonna use a little bit on the forehead as well, just a bit over here. It just blends in the skin so effortlessly. It's just very kind of like sheer in color. It has no base color, but then it just, I don't know, makes for such a beautiful glow. I have not tried this on the lips or eyes or anything like that, but I just really love it as a highlighter, and I just feel like I should showcase this product much more. And next up for the blush, I just wanted to use an oldie but a goodie. This is the Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush in 010 Blooming Hibiscus. I just want to do a little bit of a like bronzy glowy look, so we're just gonna use this one again. This used to be my absolute favorite blush in my collection. Now I use it a little less, but it's still such a good one, and I feel like we shouldn't forget about the oldies but goodies. So let's just apply this on top of all of that. And because that whole like primer and glowy filter situation, this is looking very, very pigmented. Like I often use blush just on bare skin, and then it kind of like sticks to the skin a little differently. Not in a bad way, but you need some more like product and more time to build it up because it's not sticking as much. Like my bare skin is not sticky, but these primers are a little, like not really sticky, but there's a little tag to them. So now we get a super, super blushy look. I don't feel like my cheeks are completely even. This blush doesn't really need a highlighter, but I just wanted to use one today anyway, because I wanted to show you that highlighter before I apply the blush. Okay, I don't have a color powder from Catrice, but I do want to use something to kind of clean this up a little. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit and use the Kiko Radiant Diffusion Baked Powder. So a little bit of cleaning over here. I like to do this nowadays. It's a new step in my, or like kind of new step in my routine. Alright, next up, I've been kind of trying this lip liner recently. I haven't totally made my mind about it yet, but I thought I could use it today because I haven't used it on camera yet. So this is the Plumping Lip Liner plus Maxi Lip. I don't know what that means. It's a long-lasting lip liner with Maxi Lip from Sederma. I don't know. But this is shade 150 Queen Vibes, and we're just gonna line the lips with this. This is quite a creamy lip liner, but then it's almost as if it dries down. Like there's kind of like this more tacky, drier feel to it when you go over it again. So it's a very interesting type of formula, but I feel like it's looking pretty good. I quite like this shade. It's more of this cool tone color, and it's not always easy to find a really cool tone nude lip liner. I'm gonna use a lipstick that I haven't used in a while, but I feel like I really liked. So this is the Scandalous matte lipstick in 030, and the name of this is Me Right Now. I believe this was kind of like this comfort matte lipstick, and this is kind of like that chocolatey brown, medium brown situation. Kind of has that silicone-y, very thin, creamy feel to it, but it does look matte on the lips. Like it feels very, very thin. I think I do want to add a little bit of a gloss on top. Or should we do something crazy and use a little bit of this on the lips? It could be fun. I'm gonna put a little bit of it on a brush like this and use it on the lips. Okay, I took a lot now. Let's see what happens. I really have to blend it out, otherwise it ends up looking too crazy. Why does this look kind of nice? And that is kind of interesting. It adds kind of like a satiny effect to it, but not super glowy. Almost like it's kind of disappearing in the lips again. Alright, this makeup was quite the adventure. I feel a little unsure about some things. I can already see the the concealer starting to crease a little bit, and I already had the feeling that this was gonna happen. I don't know how people make concealers that are this kind of like thick and liquidy and pigmented stay, but it doesn't work on me. I haven't had luck with it. This e.l.f. one, it works for me, but I feel like there's just too much going on my under eyes. There's just too much product there. See if I can kind of tap that out. Like, it does blend out again, but that seems like a risky situation for going outside of the house. I feel like overall the skin is looking pretty good. I quite like how it ended up. Like, I have a few patches that look a little bit more like makeup-y and a little thicker. But I have that issue with all products that are pigmented that I try to put on my face nowadays. I did not used to have that issue with this one, but apparently now this one also does that. I feel like it's winter. Like, winter has done this to my skin. So the good things from this video were the eyeshadow palette. I really like the look. It's simple, but it does what you want it to do. Like, it does look good. So far, I really like the blur primer. I felt like this worked really well. It was really mattifying. This doesn't have any perfume, which I really like. So this one, I feel like it's gonna be my favorite of the primers. This looks very, very good on my skin. The Shine Control powder is actually pretty promising. I like the effect of this because it's not crazy mattifying. It just looks a little bit more like diffused, and it just mattify a little bit, but it doesn't look too crazy. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna be using that one more. And then the bronzer, so far I like it. It's quite a nice shade. It's not too warm, but it's also not super cool. I do want to try it with different base products. This True Skin concealer was quite yellow and dark on me. I have to try that later. The brow pencil, so far so good. Like, it does what it should be doing, but I feel like it just feels a little too cheapy, the packaging. So we're gonna see. Like, it feels a little like I'm unsure while applying it. It just makes me feel like something is going wrong, like it's gonna fall apart. And then we have this concealer. As I said, it's kind of creasing now, so maybe I should use even less, but it's kind of difficult to use even less because it's so like liquidy. Like, it's really easy to apply a lot, but I'm gonna like keep testing this and see how I feel. And then the little trick on the lips with this one, it just made it look a little bit more like dimensional and a little bit more satiny, and I actually think that was pretty interesting. Don't feel like it changes a lot about the lip product. It doesn't make it feel weird or dry or anything. And of course, I really like this on the skin. But I already knew that. And that's gonna be it. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye!